Today we're in Acts chapter 22. This is one of those, I've talked a few times about the fact that chapters weren't inserted until the 1200s. And this is one of those bad chapter divisions right here, 21 to 22. So in fact, I'm going to back up to 21:37 and reread just the last 4 verses of 21 and then carry through chapter 22. So beginning at 21:37, you remember Paul had come into Jerusalem, and he had some Gentiles with him. People saw him, stirred him up, claiming he'd brought a Gentile into the temple area, beyond where they shouldn't be, which wasn't true. And so a whole thing stirred up. A riot was going on, and some of the Roman soldiers came and rescued Paul, and that's where we're going to pick up here. As he was about to be brought into the barracks, Paul said to the commander, "Am I allowed to say something to you?" He replied, "Do you know how to speak Greek? Aren't you the Egyptian who started a revolt some time ago and led 4,000 men of the assassins into the wilderness?" Paul said, "I am a Jewish man from Tarsus of Cilicia, a citizen of an important city. Now I ask you, let me speak to the people." After he had given permission, Paul stood on the steps and motioned with his hand to the people. When there was a great hush, he addressed them in Aramaic. And here's chapter 22, verse 1. It was a mid-sentence cut between the two chapters. So Paul speaking, "Brothers and fathers, listen now to my defense before you." When they heard that he was addressing them in Aramaic, they became even quieter. He continued, "I am a Jew, born in Tarsus of Cilicia, but brought up in this city, educated at the feet of Gamaliel, according to the strictest of our ancestral law. I was zealous for God, just as all of you are today. I persecuted this way to the death, arresting and putting both men and women in jail, as both the high priest and the whole council of elders can testify about me. After I received letters from them to the brothers, I traveled to Damascus to arrest those who were there and bring them to Jerusalem to be punished. As I was traveling and approached Damascus about noon, an intense light from heaven suddenly flashed around me. I fell to the ground and heard a voice saying to me, 'Saul, Saul, why are you persecuting me?' I answered, 'Who are you, Lord?' He said to me, 'I am Jesus of Nazareth, the one you are persecuting.' Now, those who were with me saw the light, but they did not hear the voice of the one who was speaking to me. I said, 'What should I do, Lord?' The Lord told me, 'Get up and go into Damascus, and there you will be told everything you have been assigned to do.' Since I couldn't see because of the brightness of the light, I was led by the hand by those who were with me and went into Damascus. Someone named Ananias, a devout man according to the law, who had a good reputation with all the Jews living there, came and stood by me and said, 'Brother Saul, regain your sight.' And in that very hour I looked up and saw him. He said, 'The God of our ancestors has appointed you to know his will, to see the righteous one, and to hear the words from his mouth, since you will be a witness for him to all people of what you have seen and heard. And now why are you delaying? Get up and be baptized and wash away your sins, calling on his name.' After I returned to Jerusalem and was praying in the temple, I fell into a trance and saw him telling me, 'Hurry and get out of Jerusalem quickly, because they will not accept your testimony about me.' But I said, 'Lord, they know that in synagogue after synagogue I had those who believed in you imprisoned and beaten. And when the blood of your witness Stephen was being shed, I stood there giving approval, guarding the clothes of those who killed him.' He said to me, 'Go, because I will send you far away to the Gentiles.'" They listened to him up to this point. Then they raised their voices, shouting, "Wipe this man off the face of the earth. He should not be allowed to live." As they were yelling and flinging aside their garments and throwing dust into the air, the commander ordered him to be brought into the barracks, directing that he be interrogated with the scourge to discover the reason they were shouting against him like this. As they stretched him out for the lash, Paul said to the centurion standing by, "Is it legal for you to scourge a man who is a Roman citizen and is uncondemned?" When the centurion heard this, he went and reported to the commander, saying, "What are you going to do? For this man is a Roman citizen." The commander came and said to him, "Tell me, are you a Roman citizen?" "Yes," he said. The commander replied, "I bought the citizenship for a large amount of money." "But I was born a citizen," Paul said. So those who were about to examine him withdrew from him immediately. The commander, too, was alarmed when he realized Paul was a Roman citizen and that he had bound him. The next day he wanted to find out exactly why Paul was being accused by the Jews, he released him and instructed the chief priests and all the Sanhedrin to convene. He brought Paul down and placed him before them. And that is the end of chapter 22. Another bad chapter split. So I tell you what, when we get to chapter 23, again, we'll back up and grab a verse out of chapter 22. In probably 3 days, I assume, is when the schedule has us pick up again. So, thank you for watching, for listening. Hope you have a great day, and hope to see you back here for our next reading.